Alright, today we're going to talk about how to find the area of trapezoids and composite figures. Now, much of this we've already kind of talked about before, but we're going to really review here and talk about a couple of the important vocabulary words that we need to know related to trapezoids, the formula to find the area of a trapezoid, and kind of how we come up with it. Okay, so our objective today is that I can find the area of a trapezoid and a composite shape. Okay, so if we are finding the area of a trapezoid or composite shape, first again we need our area formula. So our area formula for finding the area of a trapezoid is 1/2 times the height times, in parentheses, base 1 plus base 2. Yes, in order to find the area of a trapezoid, you add its bases together and multiply that by half its height. In other words, you add base number 1 plus base number 2, then multiply your answer by half its height. Okay, important vocabulary. A composite figure. What is a composite figure or a composite shape? It's a figure made up of triangles, squares, rectangles, and other two-dimensional figures. Okay, so a composite shape is going to be some sort of a shape that has multiple other two-dimensional figures inside of it. And we find the area of a composite figure by finding the area of each individual shape that we see and then adding them all together. How do we find the area of composite figures? So we just kind of talked about that. First, you need to separate it into figures with areas you already know how to find. Then find the sum of those areas. So let's try a few of these together. So if we look down here, we have a trapezoid. Okay, we know it's a trapezoid because it has one set of parallel lines and it's a quadrilateral. Remember, a parallelogram has two matching pairs of parallel lines. A trapezoid just has one set of parallel lines. So the two lines that are parallel to each other are the bases. So this would be the base and this is the base because they are parallel. But this line and this line are not parallel, so that must mean that our height goes from the corner down to the base. So if we want to find the area of a trapezoid, first we need our formula. Again, up top it says we need to find 1/2 of the height times base 1 plus base 2. So if we're going to solve that, we need to start plugging in the information that we know. We know that we're going to need 1/2 of the height. The height in this case is 10. Even though it goes sideways, we know it's the height because it goes from one base to the other base. So half of 10 times 6.7 plus 12.3. So if we want to solve that, first we have to simplify our expression. We simplify our expression by adding together the things that are in parentheses. 12.3 plus 6.7. Okay, if you wanted to add those together, we could stack them and line up the decimal. 6.7. 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. And our decimal comes straight down. So we have 19 as the base times the height multiplied by 1/2. We know that half of 10 is 5. So 5 times 19 is 19 times 5. Carry the 4. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 9. So my area is 95 feet squared. Let's try again. Again, on a trapezoid, my area formula is half of the height times the base 1 plus base 2, or base plus base. So what is my base 1 and 2? Well, we know it's the two parallel lines, so we're going to fill those in. 7 plus 11. Okay, and then 1/2. What's my height? My height is in between the two parallel lines, which is 9. Okay, so first we need to add together my bases. 7 plus 11 is 18 times half of the height. So half of 9 is 4.5 times 18. So now we just have a multiplication problem. 18 times 4.5. So 8 times 5 is 40. Carry the 4. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9. Add your 0. 4 times 8 is 32. And 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7. Add them up. So 0, 11, 8. So 810, and this is centimeters squared. Okay. So on number 3, I wrote the answer over here in the wrong spot. The answer should have just been just down here, 95 feet squared. Okay, so my area formula to find this shape, number 3, is going to be a little bit different. Okay, we have in number 3 a composite shape, which means that we need to find the area of a couple of shapes and add them together. We can see that there's a rectangle that's very noticeable here. We also can see that there's a trapezoid, but we also could see that there might be a possible triangle here, and then you could find the rectangle in the middle. So it's really all up to you. Composite shapes are all about recognizing for yourself what shapes you see that you do know how to find the area of, and then we just find the area of those shapes and we add them together. So first we need the area of a rectangle, which is going to be base times height. So the base of that rectangle is 13 times the height is 7. So what is 13 times 7? 13 times 7 is 91. So 91 centimeters squared, and that gives us the area of my rectangle, 91 centimeters squared. Okay, now we need to find either a trapezoid or a triangle, rectangle, and triangle. I'm going to go ahead and just practice finding the area of a trapezoid. Okay, so we're going to find the area of the trapezoid on the bottom, which is 1/2 the height times base 1 plus base 2. Okay, so 1/2 of the height in this trapezoid is 12, times base 1 is 31, plus base 2 is this line right here, which we know is 13 from the top. So 31 plus 13 gives us 44. So 1/2 of 12 times 44. Well, half of 12 is 6. So 6 times 44 will give us the area of our trapezoid. 44 times 6. 24, carry the 2. 24 plus 2 is 26. So 264 centimeters squared. So now we know that the middle, the trapezoid, is 264 centimeters squared, and our rectangle was 91 centimeters squared. So if we want to know the area of the entire composite shape, we have to add those two things together. So 264 plus 91 makes 4 plus 1 is 5, 9 plus 6 is 15, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So 355 centimeters squared. Okay. So I would like you to go ahead and pause and try a couple of these problems that I go ahead and give you. So on number 1, I want you to find the area of this trapezoid. Okay, and I'm going to give you the height, or sorry, the base. One of the base is going to be 12, the other base is going to be 5, and the height is going to be 4. And let's say that this is in inches, inches, inches. Okay, go ahead and find the area of that trapezoid, and your number 2, I'm going to give you a composite shape. And this composite shape is going to be in the form of a house. And we know that this length is 14. This one is 3, or let's say 13. And the length of, or the height of this triangle is 5. And we know the distance from here to here is 3. Okay, so I want you to use what you know about this shape to find the area of our composite shape. Just as a hint, this side and this side are congruent or equivalent. Okay, I want you to go ahead and give that a try. When you're finished with these 2 pause and tries, then you can get on Khan Academy. We will go over these together in a few minutes.